entire nation saw horrifying images that do not reflect who we are. The investigation into what occurred has not yet concluded. We know that those images painfully conjured up the worst elements of our nation's ongoing battle against systemic racism.
Welcome back to Wake Up America. According to newly released emails, we now know that those comments by Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, were made just 2 hours before he'd been informed via email by his communications team that the mounted Border Patrol agents he was just referring to did not at any time whip any of the migrants trying to enter the U.S. illegally, and he still hasn't corrected the record. This story dates to September of 2021. And joining us now for reaction is former acting Border Patrol Commissioner and Heritage Foundation visiting fellow Mark Morgan. Mark, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Rob.
Mark, explain to me why Mayorkas would deliberately stir racial tensions like that if he knew it wasn't true. Why would he do that?
Look, he was just parroting what this administration, what they emotionally wanted to be true. Look, they had created an unmitigated, self-made crisis at our border. In Del Rio, remember, we saw 30,000 Haitians descend upon the border and set up a third world camp. Look, it was nothing but a distraction technique that he was complicit in. And Rob, if I could say, his actions, they're indefensible. There's nothing the secretary can do to make it right. And for the men and women who will never have their reputations or their careers recovered, they're done. There's nothing they can do to recover that. I'm going to say exactly what I know for the past 24 hours since we found this out. We've all been thinking and saying, this man is a scumbag. Think about this, Rob. He knew the truth. He knew that it was a lie, and he went to the White House press office, which I've been there. I know the enormity of that. I know what that means when you're standing up there, the power that that gives you. And he chose to lie to the American people, to ignore the truth, and continue a false narrative.
So if I'm hearing you, and I didn't realize the timing overlap there, so when those thousands of Haitian migrants were under that bridge in Texas living in absolute squalor, Alejandro Mayorkas was trying to sort of flip the narrative, flip the script, and change the message.
That's exactly
right. To divert attention away from that.
That's right, because this White House was wedded to it emotionally. They wanted it to be true. They wanted it desperately. And look, I don't know what others in the administration knew when they made their outrageous comments, but we know now that the Secretary Mayorkas, knew it was a lie. And Rob, he had the opportunity to make this go away as it should have. I mean, he says that these pictures conjured up images of racism and slavery. How could they conjure up those images when they didn't do what they were being alleged? Look, they were asked to be there. They were in an untenable, chaotic situation. And those pictures showed them doing their job. And he knew that, Rob, and he still lied.
And it has been a really difficult year for those mounted Border Patrol agents who, as we now know, did nothing wrong. So, Lark, let's move on here. If Republicans do take the House, if they take the Senate, what do you think should happen next here with Alejandro Mayorkas?
On day one, the House should file articles of impeachment, Rob. You and I talked about this. I think in the history of this country, the last cabinet-level official that was impeached was in 1876. No cabinet-level official in modern-day history has been impeached. And so I'm concerned that the Republicans are going to be a little bit hesitant to do that. But I hope come January, February, you'll have me on your show. And if the Republicans on day one don't file articles of impeachment against this man, I'll be on your show calling him out as well, because that's exactly what happened. But really what should happen before then, Rob, he should resign. I mean, if he had any ounce of integrity and courage, that's what he would do. But we know he doesn't have any of that, so I don't anticipate that's what he's going to do.
Mark, I'm not convinced Republicans won't take this issue up in January if they retake the House. Congressman Chip Roy has been calling for Mayorkas' impeachment for months now. He tweeted this out yesterday, saying that he must be impeached. Do you think something like that could actually move forward, at least in the House? I get that, to your point, it hasn't happened since 1876, but it looks like it could happen again.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. That's why I said I'm hopeful. You've got representatives like Chip Roy and Biggs and some others that absolutely see this man for what he is. This is why I call Secretary Mayorkas the most dangerous man in this administration right now. He's been the chief architect of our open border policies that are allowing drugs and criminals and national security threats to pour into this country every single day, killing Americans. This is the same secretary whose open border policies are killing migrants every single day. He's lied to the American people. He's lied to Congress. And now we know that he intentionally used the bully pulpit of the White House to throw the Border Patrol agents that he's entrusted with their care intentionally, knowing what he was saying was a lie. He's got to go.